The SBNI is a partnership of 27 member agencies tasked to promote the welfare and safeguarding of children and young people. And nowhere is the embodiment of partnership working more evident than in the activity being undertaken through the EITP programme on trauma-informed practice. Local, national and international research provides compelling evidence that taking a trauma-informed approach to child protection has the potential to either prevent or mitigate against adverse childhood experiences and consequently help to address the risk of future intergenerational abuse.
Collectively, individually, as a society and government, we should always be working to make childhood the best possible experience it should be. So the reason is moral, it's the right thing to do. The other stuff we'll use when we're trying to secure funding and we'll make the point with politicians, but we should never lose sight. The reason for this is it's the right thing to do.
A project team that started in November has now delivered 8 procurements, 2 levels of training, an animation, and is now working across the sector to deliver within their own organisations. So for example, F2 doctor training, they will now receive ACEs, that's already been incorporated. Year 4 medical students will take this training. Doctors before they go into their paediatric placement are taking this training. We've already had it out within social work in terms of the Education Authority, the Children and Young Persons Directorate, they're taking the training. If we look at prisons, they're taking the training. You know, I could go on and on and on and on and on, and we will co-design with that. But that is fantastic within such a really short period of time. And all of you are part of that team that I talked about at the beginning, because it couldn't just be done by 5 or 6 people. And that's why it's so great that we talk about it, you know, a Northern Ireland-wise transformation.
To have a tangible tool in the video which can be used in terms of the training and development. I think this is a brilliant place to be. And if you asked me a year and a half ago, would I thought we'd have got here this quickly? I said no, but we have, and I think that's great.
We underpin the development of a trauma-informed system in Northern Ireland by following the 4 key principles from SAMHSA. We need to be able to realise that trauma exists, we need to be able to recognise it and understand the signs and symptoms, and we need to be able to respond in a way that is appropriate within our policies, procedures, practice and culture. But most importantly, when we do that, we need to ensure that we do not re-traumatise, both from our own personal perspective, as a member of a workforce, or within our organisation.
Over the past 3 months, we have been gathering lots of feedback from children and young people around this idea of ACEs and trauma-informed practice. So we've interviewed a number of already established groups, including young carers, refugees, primary, secondary school pupils, disabled children and young people, as well as children and young people who are either in care or are in the process of leaving care. And we gathered all of our feedback through a session that I entitled Life Changers. I would say, well, what are the things that make life difficult? What are some of the things that children or young people your age struggle with? And if you were taking part, I'd hand you out some post-its, and you might write some things like this: child abuse, cancer, the death of a loved one, sectarianism, homelessness, depression, anxiety, mental health, cyberbullying, poverty, or being neglected by your parents. And at this stage I'd say those are all terrible things that happen, and it'd be really difficult for you to go through one of those on its own. But imagine if you had to go through maybe 2, 3, 4 of those all at the same time. That would be very difficult. And then I would explain a little bit about ACEs, and I'd move on to say, well, when things are difficult in your life, if you had to pick one person or one program that made a difference, what would that be? And these are some of the children and young people's responses. So they're all drawn on paper plates. So this one young person wrote, my mother. She makes sure that I'm well. She gives me great advice. She helped me through a lot of struggles. She's understanding, she's loving. She makes me feel safe. Someone else wrote, my friends. They make me happy every day. Someone else wrote, my foster carers, they took me out of a really bad situation. They gave me additional support. Someone else drew this amazing picture of my friend, my best friend. And there's lots of these. My granny, she looked after me, she listened, she loves me, she helps me, laughter, support, kindness. My dog Coco gives me ear washes, gives me cuddles. She's a great pillow. Loads of these teachers, you name it. And finally, at the end of the session, I would then ask anyone who wanted to take part, would you mind going on camera and answering 2 very simple questions. Who or what made the difference in your life? And how did that make you feel? And that's the short video that we're about to watch. So thank you very much.
Robbie, my football coach, because he comes in every Thursday to our school, and he does football skills and does a match, and he inspires me to do my best.
My nana, because whenever my mum died, she always comforted me.
My parents made my life better because I always know that I can trust them and I can tell them things to get off my chest.
When I met her, I just felt that I'm not alone in this country and all of that. So I'm not by myself. There's someone here to hold me back and all.
When I'm playing sport, all my worries disappear and I can just focus on the task at hand, and it really helps me relieve stress.
It makes me feel very happy that I know that I can talk to somebody.
My one takeaway from today would be that it only takes one caring adult to make the difference.
It's important to have a trauma-informed workforce, because at the end of the day what that does is enables the workforce to put children at the centre of their work. And when you put children at the centre of your work, then you can realise their rights.
I think there are lots of different factors that will contribute to us achieving a trauma-informed nation here in the north of Ireland. Primarily for me, there are questions about resources, there's questions about awareness, but perhaps most importantly, it's about leadership. We need leaders who can step up and work outside of the usual silos and boundaries that confine them. To get a trauma-informed nation, we need to have police officers who understand health. We need to have health workers who understand education. We need to have education workers who understand early years and development. We all need to break out and focus on children.